Good afternoon, Vegas Golden Knights fans. And thanks for tuning in to episode 21 of the VGKbugeyeGuy Podcast. My name's Nick, and welcome. Now, before we get into this podcast, if my voice sounds just a little bit off, maybe a little froggy, well, the Bug-Eye Guy was at the Fortress Tuesday and last night. So I watched the Caps game and the Hawks game in person. Thus, didn't have much of a voice Wednesday or this morning, because I was yelling my ass off at the Fortress. And trust me, this podcast is going to be a little long because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of really cool and important things to cover. But first, we need to talk about Seattle, the Emerald City. This week, if you didn't know, you must live somewhere where there's no internet or TV or radio or, yeah, you guys already know. Seattle, 32nd franchise in the NHL. They've been awarded it. They're going to get an expansion draft with the same rules the Vegas Golden Knights had. And they're going to be a Pacific Division rival. Now, how do I feel about that? Honestly, I think it's a good move. The NHL will now get to 32, which will be even in both sides. The Pacific Division, Seattle coming, their rival is probably going to be Vancouver because they're like right across the way from Vancouver. I think that's good for the league. But that means the Pacific Division has too many teams. So part of this deal was the Arizona Coyotes moving from the Pacific Division to the Central Division. Now, we'll discuss that a little bit more later in the podcast. That kind of sucks because the Bug-Eye Guy likes driving down to Phoenix. It's close to go watch the Golden Knights on the road, but I understand why the NHL did it, and it's good. Where's Seattle going to play? Well, it sounds like they are going to renovate the Key Arena. It's a $700 million project. It's where the Seattle Supersonics used to play, and the main reason why the Supersonics in the NBA left and moved to Oklahoma City was because the Key Arena was kind of a dump and the city didn't want to spend any money to fix it up. Well, fast forward to 2018, and they're spending the money, they're fixing it up because they're going to get an NHL franchise. It's going to be good for the city. The location's going to kind of suck for people getting in and out of there, but you know what? It's awesome. That means the NHL is doing good. As a whole, the NHL hockey in North America is doing good, and I'm glad. Now, what's everyone saying? Is Seattle going to be like Vegas? They're going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year? I'm going to put it on the line right now and say, hell no, not even close. I would be shocked if Seattle's even... I mean, they're probably going to be an okay team, but I don't see them making the playoffs, and here's the reason why. The Vegas Golden Knights during the expansion draft, now GM George McPhee and his group, they had kind of an advantage. A lot of teams had a lot of players that they wanted to protect. What they ended up doing was cutting deals with Vegas, saying, hey, if you take Eric Halla, this is Minnesota, we'll give you Alex Tuck. Or in Florida, if you take Riley Smith, because Riley Smith makes $5 million a year and he's not really doing much for us down here, but here, if you take Riley Smith, we'll give you Jonathan Marchessault, which ended up being 2 of our 3 guys on our number 1 line last year. Columbus is another example. Columbus said, hey, if you take David Clarkson's contract and if you select William Karlsson, we will give you a first overall pick, a first round pick. And GM George McPhee was like, duh, hell yeah, I'll do that. That is not going to happen this time around. This is what I think most of the general managers in the league are going to do. They're going to make a decision on their team whether they want to protect the 8 skaters or the 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and goalie, I think is what it is. Either way, they're going to go, all right, owner, this is our 2 options. Who do you want to protect? And once the team comes up with that list, I think they're going to sit back and go, Seattle, pick whoever the hell you want. We ain't giving you no extra nothing. Vegas bent over a bunch of teams last time. We're going to sit here. We're going to let you expand. We're going to let you take 1 player from our team, and we're going to move on. That's it. All those extra draft picks, I don't see that happening. But you never know. I mean, they could shock the world and be better than Vegas and actually win the cup in their first year. I have no idea. But what I do know is in the 2021-2022 season, our new Pacific Division rival will be the Seattle, who knows what they're going to be called. Some of the names that have been floating out there are the Seattle Pilots, the Steelheads, the Sockeyes, and even Unleash the Kraken. I don't know. The Seattle Kraken would probably be good. But now you got to think about colors. You would assume in Seattle, the Seahawks, it's green and navy blue. But here's the problem. Their rival, it has to be their rival, Vancouver Canucks, are blue and green. So that's not really going to be an option. The NHL is not going to allow a team to be that close to another team with the same color scheme. It's not going to happen. I heard black and red floated out there. Honestly, it's so early, we have no idea. I'm sure the marketing team up in Seattle's working on designs and color schemes and names right now. So the question was, why was Arizona the one team that got opted to move from the Pacific Division out? Well, geography and time zones pretty much sums it up. Gary Bettman even said it's the time zone, scheduling, and the fact that the Coyotes' attendance in games against Central Division is better. Now, when I went to the game against the Vegas Golden Knights a few weeks ago, there were not that many people in that arena. And there was a shit ton, a ridiculous amount of Vegas Golden Knights fans. So I get it. Maybe this is a smart decision for them. Here's the problem for the Arizona Coyotes. And I know some of these teams are in a down year right now, but you got to think a couple years ahead. They're moving into a division with the Chicago Blackhawks, the Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues, and the freaking Winnipeg Jets. That's a tough division. It's going to be tough for Arizona. But Arizona doesn't believe in daylight savings, so they're an hour ahead of us right now here in Las Vegas, and let them move. They're an hour ahead. Let them move over there. I'm fine with that. So I'm glad the NHL expanded to 32. That way it's even. That means half the teams will make it in the playoffs, half won't. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a big hype, a big buzz. They sold their season tickets way faster than the Vegas Golden Knights did, but remember, Vegas was the first expansion in years. Everybody saw what happened in Vegas, and all the season ticket holders selling their tickets, making money, so the Seattle people are like, dude, we're jumping on that too. And maybe those Seattle fans are just freaking excited to have professional hockey in their city. Vegas was happy to have a professional sport in our city, let alone hockey being the original. I'm good with that. Either way, congratulations to Seattle, and congratulations to the Arizona Coyotes. Unfortunately, you got to play the Golden Knights a whole bunch of times for the next couple years, but this is good for the NHL. Another thing that's good for the NHL is the fact that Gary Bettman also is expecting an increase in the league's salary cap. They're saying close to $83 million. $83 million. The current NHL salary cap for this year is $79.5 million. So $3.5 million increase. Now you're thinking, Bug-Eye Guy, what's $3.5 million? Well, $3.5 million for the Vegas Golden Knights is like 2 players at least. That's extra money that no one was accounting for, which means we have that much more money on our salary cap that we can go spend on re-signing players, on signing free agents, signing our young guys. It's extra money. The reason that's happening is because the league is doing good. Teams are doing good. They're making money. Having an expansion team with a tragic shooting in their city, followed by an amazing run to the Stanley Cup Finals, probably didn't hurt the ratings at all last year. So as I was doing my research for this episode, I went over to Cap Friendly and I kind of ran the numbers real quick for next year. Next year, the Vegas Golden Knights projected cap hit as it stands right now with the players on the roster now, $72.970. That's what they got, and the cap's $79. So they got like $6 million. They're going to end up having like $9 million with the increase in next year's salary cap. That's $9 million. Now we got to sign some players. Let's see. Daniel Carson, unrestricted free agent. Let's see here. Brad Hunt, unrestricted free agent. Derek Englund, unrestricted free agent. Ryan Carpenter, unrestricted free agent. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, unrestricted free agent. Oscar Lindbergh, unrestricted free agent. And then, of course, we've got Thomas Nosek and Wild Bill, William Karlsson, are restricted free agents that are going to need new contracts. All right, for you Vegas Golden Knights fans, Malcolm Subban is also a restricted free agent next year. He makes $650,000 this year. So there is an increase, but we have money to spend. Now, I'm not saying we need to spend all our money and re-sign everyone. Sure, there's going to be transactions. There's going to be stuff that happens. Hell, the trade deadline this year, we might be in the mix. Who knows? We've got money. We've got money to spend if we need to. Trust me, George McPhee and Bill Foley and all the management folks, they know what they're doing, reference to salary cap. We're in a good spot. Sure, we could work some magic and still maybe sign someone like Erik Karlsson, but honestly, we're good the way we are. We just need to continue. And just to remind everyone, David Clarkson, he's on the books next year as well for $5.25 million. But that's the last year. Once that's done, that's another $5.25 million that we have under the cap that we can spend on our players or future players. Now, I wish we had the opportunity to watch the Chicago Wolves a little bit more than we do over here. And honestly, you can pay to get like a minor league package where you can watch the games, you can stream them. And I did watch a Chicago Wolves game a couple weekends ago, which was good. But we've got a lot of players down there that non-roster forwards that salary cap needs to go to also. Cody Glass, he's $894,000 through the 2021 season. Depending if he makes it, ends up being what we hope he's going to be, he's going to need to get paid. Daniel Carr, Cage Quinney, Kozar, Gallant, Brandon Peary, Thomas Heika, Brooks Masick. There's a bunch of them. Defensemen, White Cloud, Brandstrom. We know what Brandstrom's going to do. Haig, Bischoff. I mean, our minor team is doing, they've got some talent down there. So that means the future of our Vegas Golden Knights is going to be good. It's looking good. We've got young talent for the future. We're not a cash-strapped team like the Chicago Blackhawks that are all the way at the top and suck. We're in a good spot. And we're in a good spot because we got a good GM. So before I start diving into the recaps of the games we had this week, let's do a quick injury update. So everyone's probably wondering, what the heck is going on with Paul Stastny? Well, when he first got injured at the beginning of the season, they said sometime mid-December. As of yesterday, Coach Gerard Gallant said Stastny lower body injury is still a couple weeks away. Stastny is skating, but it's clear he's going to miss at least a few more games. But remember, once he's healthy, where's he going to fit in the lineup? He's got to go through the return process of getting up to speed, getting consistency, getting comfortable playing with his line mates. He's literally been out since the beginning of the season. He played in 3 games. It's almost like picking a guy up at the trade deadline. You've played your season, and now you're in the middle of your season, and you go out and get a guy. That's kind of what Stastny's going to be for us. It's like picking up a new player because, honestly, he hasn't been around. And I know some of you guys are thinking, oh, Bug-Eye Guy, are they going to put him on the second line and move Eakin down after Eakin's been playing so good? Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Coach Gerard Gallant is going to roll with the hot line, and if the hot line right now is Reaves, Carrier, and Belmar. I'm just kidding. The hot line is the second line with Alex Tuck, Max Pacioretty, and Cody Eakin. They've been super consistent. They've been putting points on the board. They've been playing good defense. Overall, they've been our best line of the last couple weeks. Now, I love the fourth line. I mentioned the fourth line. We're going to talk a lot about the fourth line during the game recaps. But the fourth line has 6, 11, 15 goals. Okay, Tuck almost has 10. Pacioretty has 10. Eakin has 11. You do the math, they're producing more. But the second line should produce more than the fourth line. Just saying. So once Stastny's back, coach is going to have to make a decision on who's going to sit and who's going to play. Another transaction that happened a few days ago was Daniel Carr being sent back down to the AHL Chicago Wolves. Honestly, the beginning of the season, Thomas Heika was up here and he wasn't really doing much, so they sent him down and replaced him with Carr. Carr came in, had a goal, nice goal, had some good plays. He was hustling out there, but for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the coaching staff's looking for, but that third line's been a revolving door, and apparently Carr just wasn't giving them the look. So they called up, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, his name's Duke, Reed Duke. I had to do a little digging to find out who this Reed Duke feller was. I'm just kidding with you guys. Reed Duke, the first ever official Vegas Golden Knight. The first guy to ever sign. Yeah, Reed Duke, who was hurt all last year and didn't play in the AHL. And has been healthy finally. And has been contributing for the Chicago Wolves. And he's been playing kind of a tough, physical, aggressive role. And I'm thinking, dude, why the hell not give Reed Duke a shot? And what do you got to lose? Nothing, really. You can always roll Lindbergh in the lineup. Or call up Brandon Peary or a whole bunch of these other guys. Give him a shot. I'm super excited. I honestly thought he was going to make his NHL debut last night against the Chicago Blackhawks. That didn't happen. Maybe he makes his debut on the road against the Los Angeles Kings, or maybe they let him play in front of the Fortress this Sunday against the Dallas Stars. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Either way, the Bug-Eye Guy's kind of looking forward to seeing the first ever Vegas Golden Knight actually get to make it to the NHL and get to play in a game. To me, that's pretty special. That's pretty cool for this kid. And I hope he does an awesome job. And if he sucks, we'll boo him and he'll go back to the AHL. So it's kind of a win-win for us, right? Right. Now, folks, you remember a few weeks ago when the Vegas Golden Knights were fighting with the Los Angeles Kings for the bottom of the division and overall bottom in the NHL as far as standings? Well, I guess winning 8 out of 9 games will help fix that. But the Vegas Golden Knights have moved up to 11th in the NHL. Yep, that's right. Our Vegas Golden Knights have played 30 games and we got 33 points and we're 11th in the NHL. Now that's pretty impressive, especially since the fact that we've done that on the back of Marc-Andre Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury has played almost every game this year. He's at number 1 in the league for games played, Number 1 in the league for minutes played. Number 1 in the league for wins. Number 1 in the league for shootouts. But Marc-Andre Fleury gets tired. He won't say that, and you Vegas Golden Knights fans don't understand it. You're like, well, the players don't get a game off. Well, the players aren't freaking goalies. There's a reason why you have 2 goalies. There's a reason why backups play in the NHL. It's to rest your starters. Now, we've tried that 4 times this year, and every single time we've tried that, we've played Mr. Malcolm Subban. And you guys know, Subban struggled this year. A couple days ago, I put a post out on social media that says, all right, fellers, we got a back-to-back this weekend. We got L.A., who's a rival, and we got Dallas. Which game do you play Subban? Some people, oh, you don't play Subban, you play Fleury. And some people are like, no, the Bug-Eye Guy's right. Flower needs a break. And then people are trying to decide. Me, personally, as the Bug-Eye Guy, I think Malcolm Subban plays against the Kings. And I think Fleury plays in front of the home court at the Fortress against the Dallas Stars. Now, why do I say that? Well, 2 reasons. 1, Fleury's money at home. And 2, the Kings suck. And if we lose because we had Subban in net, then whatever. The Kings suck. And I used to be a Kings fan. They're terrible right now. Hell, if you guys didn't know, they signed old Lipstick. Yeah, Brandon Leipsic, who couldn't make it in Toronto. We picked him up in the expansion draft. We shipped him to Vancouver. Vancouver let him play a little bit. And you guys probably go, hey, Lipstick was playing against us. That's because their stars were hurt. And once their stars came back, they were like, we're putting Lipstick on waivers. And the Kings, who have been decimated by injuries and are super slow, were like, oh, we'll take this fast Lipstick guy. Congratulations, Kings, you can have him. He's super aggressive. He makes a bunch of really good moves, and he never frickin' finishes. He can never close the deal. So let the Kings go up against Subban. Maybe Subban gets a win. Maybe Subban does really, really good. The fan base gets back on the Subs bandwagon. Subs gets a little bit of confidence, and then we're not nervous when we have to play Subban. Because honestly, right now, when Subban's in net, us fans, nervous. You know those players are nervous. Hell, the defensemen are like, oh, shit. I mean, if you protect them and they're shooting from the blue line, but it goes in, that's a problem on the goalie. And rebound control. Subban, whatever game you play, I am hoping that the coaching staff has been working with you on your rebound control. Because the last few games, your rebound control is why you've gotten shelled. Sure, you make the initial stop, but you kick it right to the guy in his stick. Rebounds are very, very important for goalies. So I think this weekend's going to be good. Honestly, 2 games. Dallas is playing really good. You know, Dallas has not lost against a Pacific Division team this year. They're 8-0-1 as I'm recording this podcast. But they haven't played the Vegas Golden Knights yet. So that record might be 8-1-1 after Sunday. Unless if Subban plays, then we might be in trouble. But I'm being positive. I'm being focused. No more negative Nick. No more negative Bug-Eye Guy. I promise. So as I'm looking over the stats here real quick, there's 2 stats that are really impressive to the Bug-Eye Guy. The first one is our power play. At the beginning of the year, our power play was terrible. Garbage. We went like 18 games or something without a power play goal. None. Now all of a sudden, we're 11th in the freaking league on the power play. As of right now, we are 20% on the power play. We've got 20 goals out of 100 chances. 20% on the power play. That's good enough for 11th in the league. If we can stay that consistent, we're going to continue to win games, folks. You got to take advantage from special teams. And speaking of special teams, we're number 4 in the league in the penalty kill. And the only teams that are ahead of us are Arizona, Pittsburgh, and San Jose. The Vegas Golden Knights are currently 85.9% on the penalty kill. They've had to defend 92 times, and they've given up 13 goals. To me, 4th in the league, penalty kill is right where we were last year. Tough, smart defensive team. I wish we would stop taking stupid penalties, but I know it's part of the league. It's part of the game. I get it. But honestly, when you do take a stupid penalty, you got to feel pretty confident that your teammates are going to back you up, especially when they're 85.9% on the freaking penalty kill. That's good. That's real good. That's why the Vegas Golden Knights are playing such good hockey. Good on the power play, good on the penalty kill, good goaltending, vastly, vastly improved defense. Nate Schmidt coming back probably helped, but vastly improved. So real quick, I'm going to go over updated player stats. I think I'm going to do this in most of the podcasts. It doesn't take that much time, gets the information out there. So right now, Johnny Marchessault, 23 points, 11 goals, 12 assists. Wild Bill, 22 points, 9 goals, 13 assists. Alex Tuck, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. Riley Smith, I swear Riley Smith should have like 30 goals this year. Riley Smith has 5 goals and 15 assists for 20 points. Now, Riley Smith has had so many chances, and for whatever reason, that frickin' puck luck is not going Riley Smith's way. Eventually, when that puck luck turns, he's going to go on fire. He's going to light it up because he has had so many chances. He's in the right place so many times. He just can't finish. Ryan Reaves, 6 goals, 4 assists. Shea Theodore, let's go Patches, 10 goals, 7 assists. Cody Eakin, 11 goals, 8 assists, 19 points, man. He's doing really, really good this year. That's pretty much it. I could go over every single one, but honestly, you don't care. You just want to hear about the big names. I get it. That's what I'd want to listen to. So, where are we at as far as playoffs? Now, sure, it's December 7th. Happy Pearl Harbor Day. I guess it's not a happy thing, but remember, it's a Pearl Harbor Day today, December 7th, 1941. I was a Navy guy, so Pearl Harbor's kind of important to me. So, but as of today, right now, the Pacific Division, Calgary Flames, Anaheim Ducks, Vegas Golden Knights. 1, 2, 3. Now, the Ducks are ahead of us because they got 2 points more than us, but not worried about that. We beat their ass twice already this year. And the Sharks are actually tied with us in points, but we've got the heads up on them. Therefore, we're in third. They're not. Los Angeles Kings, I was mentioning earlier, 21 points. 21 points. That doesn't cut it in the NHL. The Central Division, 22 points for the St. Louis Blues and 23 points for the Blackhawks. So the Kings are, half a game to a game worse than Chicago or St. Louis, which is crazy. Vancouver, 27 points. Coyotes, 28 points. It's close. I mean, the division's close. Calgary's at 38, Anaheim 35, Vegas 33. It's close. And that's all you can really ask for from your team. In December, you want to be competitive. You want to be close. That's it. So every future episode of the podcast, you're probably going to hear a little bit of stats about the players or the standings because, honestly, it's important information to kind of talk about, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So if you don't like it, you can fast forward to that little 2-minute portion of talking about important Vegas Golden Knights stuff if you want to, but I know you don't want to because you love the Bug Eye Guy, and you love listening to the podcast, and you love listening to him talk about stats, blah, 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 and salary cap and all this other important stuff because you love me. It's cool. You know why? Because I love you. And as always, let's go. All right, we've come to the portion of the podcast where we get to talk about some real Vegas Golden Knights news. Since my last podcast, we have had 3 Vegas Golden Knights games. Starting with Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights were coming into Edmonton with a 5-game winning streak. I mean, we were playing night hockey. And we went into Edmonton, and in the first period, stupid Connor McDavid made an awesome play, got a goal, and Ryan Spooner got the game winner with 5 minutes left in the game. How much was it? 5:50 left in the game in the third period. Eakin kind of got burned on the backside. Perfect pass to Spooner. Spooner scored. The Vegas Golden Knights end up losing to Edmonton 2-1. Now, this was Edmonton's 3rd win in a row. They got their new coach. And honestly, I don't really care that the Vegas Golden Knights lost. Sure, we didn't get the 2 points, but honestly, if you watched the game, Vegas Golden Knights played Vegas Golden Knights hockey. They just came across, and I swear, it's like every single time we play teams, we get their best performance from their goalie. Mikko Koskinen, this dude's massive, and he's flexible, and he plays really sound position goaltending. I mean, the reason we didn't win was not that we weren't giving the effort, we just couldn't get the puck past this freaking guy. I'm thinking, where the hell's Cam Talbot, man? I like going up against Cam Talbot. This guy here, there's not a lot of tape on him, so the players, scouting and all that stuff and pregame, this guy was stopping everything. He made 31 freaking saves. Wild Bill did end up getting a goal. He extended his goal streak to 4 games, which was pretty cool. Unfortunately, we lost, but honestly, if we had just beaten them up there 6-3 the week prior, kind of a revenge game for them, I guess. It would have been nice to win that game. But honestly, we had won 5 in a row, so now we're 5-1 in the last 6 games. We lose to Edmonton 2-1. Bug Eye Guy is like, you know what? It is what it is. The next game, Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. A day that will live in infamy. The Washington Capitals, the defending Stanley Cup champions that beat the Vegas Golden Knights in the finals last year in our house, finally returned to the Fortress. Now, this game was hyped by the Bug Eye Guy shortly after the conclusion of the playoffs last year. I've done videos on it. I've talked about it in my podcast. I've done social media posts about this specific day. Now, the reason this day was so important was Tom Wilson, little bitch last year, took that dirty cheap shot hit on Marchessault, and we never really got payback. Now, we played the Capitals earlier in October, and unfortunately, Tom Wilson was suspended because, newsflash, Tom Wilson is a cheap shot POS. Now, I know Caps fans love him, and if he was on my team, I'd probably love him too. But he's a dirty player. Now, a lot of people like to compare Ryan Reaves to Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson, in my opinion, is a dirty player that takes cheap shots at people with intent to injure. Now, he plays a physical game, which allows him to be really good on the offensive side because he uses his body and his weight to manhandle people, pretty much. Ryan Reaves isn't like that. Sure, Ryan Reaves is a tough physical SOB, don't get me wrong. But you don't really ever hear him taking dirty shots at players' heads. When's the last time you heard Reaves suspended for 20 games? Doesn't really happen. So the reason the Bug-Eye Guy was so excited about this game was finally we get to see Ryan Reaves versus Tom Wilson. And a lot of people were saying, why would we see that? Tom Wilson is a first liner. He plays with Ovechkin. Reaves is on the fourth line. They're probably never even going to see each other. Nope. The coolest thing that I have seen this season as a Vegas Golden Knights fan is Coach Gerard Gallant saying, you know what? F you, Washington. We are going to start our fourth line with Reaves, Carrier, and Belmar against your number one line with Wilson and Ovi. We don't give a shit. Our guys are just as tough, if not tougher than your line. And sure, you guys beat them in skill, but we got Belly who plays smart, sound hockey. And we got the two Bash brothers on either side of Belly. And as of today, it's still true. Leading the league in hits in the whole NHL. Number 1 and number 2, William Carrier, Ryan Reaves. So the two leading hit guys in the whole NHL play on the same line for the Vegas Golden Knights. And Coach Gerard Gallant was like, F you, Washington. We're going to roll Reaves and Carrier out there against your Stars and see what happens. Now, of course, Reardon, the Washington coach in the postgame, was like, Reaves was jawing at Wilson the whole game. He was out to get him the whole game. And it was like Reardon thought that was bad. Well, I know Reardon wasn't here last year because Barry Trotz was the coach for the Capitals last year. But maybe, Mr. Coach for Washington, you should watch some fucking tape. Literally. Watch the tape of the playoffs last year when Wilson skated from one end of the ice all the way to the other end of the ice with no intention of making a hockey move other than laying the fuck Marchessault out. That was it. That was his only goal. And he didn't get suspended for it. So Tom Wilson was owed some fucking payback. At the beginning, Reaves came down and Wilson kind of stood him up, knocked Reaves down. Now Reaves smiled a bit, goes, okay, let's go. And then Wilson got dropped. And dropped. And laughed at. And dropped. And laughed at. And finally knocked out of the game. Now it's going to be a controversial topic. I understand people might be going, oh, it was a dirty hit. It was a cheap shot hit. No. That is all bullshit, people. I'm telling you right now. I've been watching hockey a long fucking time. That was a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. If you're going to call a penalty on it, you call 2-minute interference because the puck had been gone. The puck was gone half a second. To me, that's if it wasn't Wilson and Reaves, and really if Wilson didn't get hurt from the hit, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But, oh, it was a cheap shot hit by Reaves. Bullshit. Wilson saw it, turned his head at the last minute, and braced for fucking impact. That's what happened. The reason Wilson got hurt is because that bitch had his chin strap on so loose, the violent physical shoulder-to-shoulder clean impact from Reaves threw his helmet off, and when Wilson hit the ice, his head smacked the ice. That's what caused the concussion. That's why he was out of the game. It wasn't the hit. It was him falling on the ice that caused it. They gave him a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. Looking back on it, the NHL is like, I guess they did it to control the game. But what would have happened if Washington scored like 4 goals on that 5-minute power play? It's kind of bullshit, don't you think, on a penalty that was clean? I mean, it was a 2-minute penalty. That's it. And you should see, oh my God, you should go on Twitter. Twitter's good. Oh, these crybaby-ass Caps fans. Are you kidding me? Reardon, are you kidding me? You guys defend the one guy in the NHL that has a history of taking dirty, cheap shots with intent to injure people. You defend Tom fucking Wilson, but you're mad because Ryan the Lion Reaves dished out a little payback? I mean, that one play where he blew him up, and then Reaves just skated on by, kept going playing hockey like, yeah, I blew Wilson up, no big deal. And then Wilson comes back at him, and Reaves drops him a second time in the same shift. And then Wilson gets up, like tries to get in Reaves' face. Of course, he's behind the official. And Reaves is laughing at him the whole time. The whole time, Reaves is clowning him like, dude, you can't try that physical, shitty, dirty play you try and do with the other 29 teams in the NHL. But when you play the Vegas Golden Knights, that shit don't fly. You want to take a cheap shot at one of our players, you get Reaves. You want to take a dirty run at one of our players, you get Carrier. It doesn't fly with the Vegas Golden Knights. And yes, Tom Wilson got hurt. And no, the Bug-Eye Guy doesn't want anybody to get hurt. At the end of the day, this is just a game. It's just a sport. These players get paid good money to go play the sport. But once they're not in the league anymore, they're still human beings. I don't want him to be permanently fucked up for the rest of his life because he played in a game. But I also know that he ran into a lion in the frickin' jungle. And Ryan Reaves, yes, I'm sure he was jawing the whole game. I'm sure he was in Wilson's head the whole game. He kind of deserved it. And if anything, I think Caps fans are a little butthurt because they're not used to that. They're used to having their Mr. Wilson guy doing that shit to them. Now that the shoe's on the other foot and Reaves is just, honestly, Reaves just kills him. It's not even close. I saw someone last night at the Blackhawks game that had a jersey that said Wilson's daddy, number 75. That was awesome. I thought that was funny. And I saw it go around on social media. It's funny. Boxers, MMA folks, WWE wrestlers, everybody has somebody's number. There's always one person out there that's a little bit better to you or matches up a little bit better than you. In this case, it's simple. Tom Wilson, you're a tough SOB. You play kind of dirty, but you're a tough SOB. You can pull that shit on other teams. Can't do it against Vegas. I hope you learned your fucking lesson. Because if we ever play you again, the same shit's going to happen. And you don't have anybody on your team that can go toe-to-toe with Ryan Reaves. There's a reason Pittsburgh signed Ryan Reaves, to protect Crosby against you. That's the whole reason Pittsburgh got Reaves, was to protect Crosby against you. Their division rival. And you think that Reaves gets shipped over here to Vegas and all of a sudden you're a tough SOB and you can take on Reaves? You fucking kidding me? And all you Caps fans, bunch of crybabies. Oh, we're better. We won the cup. Yeah, it was our first fucking year. What else do you got? What else do you got to throw at me? Because honestly, you guys are kind of tool bags. Kind of tool bags in the fortress. You won. Congratulations. Your guy Wilson, you want to defend him. That's fine. Defend him. But don't all of a sudden say that Ryan Reaves should have been suspended for that hit. Did you not watch the Devils game last week when Wilson again took a run at a guy and injured him? No suspension? But Reaves' shoulder hit just because he laid your fucking tough guy the fuck out on the ice, all of a sudden it should be suspended? No. Sorry. And Wilson should be really pissed because guess who got the first goal in this game? Yep. Ryan freaking Reaves with his 6th goal of the year, 4th line, coming through with the goal. Honestly, I've been looking forward to this game since playoffs last year. And you know when you get super excited and you're super pumped up for a game, but you always have that feeling deep down that it might be a letdown or it might be a trap game? Well, Vegas Golden Knights fans, that did not happen. This game lived up to the hype. More storylines came out of it for future hype. This game was awesome. The Bug-Eye Guy lost his voice at this game. I never yelled so loud. I had so much fun. It was so exciting. It was honestly the game of the season by far so far. Quickly, let's go recap the actual game. So Reaves got the goal, 2:30 into the first, and then Jacob Vrana, he scored, and it was a 2-on-1 where our D-man got burned again. It seems like every time we make one small mistake, it ends up in the back of the net. But the bottom line, after one period, it was 1-1. The second period, another one of those shots where it bounced off the back of the boards, and it was a perfect ricochet right to Ovi's stick. Ovi catches Fleury off guard. Quickly, it's 2-1. I'm thinking, oh, man, here we go. Here we go again. We're going to get freaking screwed by the stupid Washington Capitals. But no. In the third period, Mr. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, awesome deflection from a nabber shot, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. And 16 seconds later, Cody Eakin scored. Now it's 3-2. Vegas Golden Knights got the lead. This is 2 games in a row that they scored 2 goals under 20 seconds. Hell, 2 goals under 16 seconds, technically. Later on at 11:40 in the third, Vrana got a nice shot from the point that made it through. It's 3-3. 3-3, tough game. Reaves is out. Wilson's out. Going back and forth. There was a beautiful hit by Ovechkin on Nosek. It was a clean hit. No disrespect. It's a highlight hit. Nosek got blown up. It happens to him. Seems like more often than not, but it was a good hit. 3-3. Nate Schmitty. 18:35 in the third period. There's like 7 seconds left on the power play, and this was a 4-minute high sticking to Nabber. I mean, Nebber took a shaft of the stick right across his face, right underneath his glass, immediately went down, had blood, went off the ice to get stitched up real quick. 4-minute penalty. And Schmidt came in, slight deke to the left, a nice wrist shot to the upper right corner. It beat Holtby. All of a sudden, Vegas Golden Knights got the lead, 4-3. Shortly after that, they pull Holtby for the extra attacker. Schmidt's down in the defensive zone, just kind of alley-oops it to clear it out of the zone. Perfect shot right into the empty net. The Vegas Golden Knights defended the Fortress, got revenge on the Capitals, got revenge on Tom Wilson, and beat the Capitals 5-3. Great game, great win. They played night hockey. They played tough, physical, and smart. Awesome game. Lived up to the hype. Best one so far I've been to this year. And quickly before we start talking about Chicago, Todd Reardon on Reaves, this was his exact quote. You could hear it on every face-off. You could hear the things that were being said. And it's a blindside hit where an unsuspecting player hits his head on the ice. That's disappointing. You can put 2 and 2 together, but he targeted him the entire game. Yes, Mr. Reardon, Reaves did target Wilson the entire game. And Wilson had it coming. Sorry, bud. This is the NHL. This is the only professional sports league that allows you to beat the shit out of another guy. You go get a 5-minute timeout, you get back in the game. That's it. That's how it works. Reardon. Welcome to the NHL, dude. Reaves is awesome. Wilson's a cheap ass. And, hey, real quickly, for you Vegas Golden Knights fans that live in Vegas, next time you go to a bar, and I say Vegas because there's a bar in every freaking corner, go in and order a Tom Wilson. And they're going to go, I don't know how to make a Tom Wilson. What's in it, sir? And you say, just give me the cheapest shot you got. Come on, it's kind of funny. Buddy of mine, Matt, told it to me in the smoking area at the Fortress. I thought it was cheesy, corny, but it was funny. So there you go. Joke of the day. So last night, Fortress, Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, last week, the Vegas Golden Knights kicked the crap out of the Blackhawks at the United Center in Chicago, 8-3. Now, the Blackhawks played the Ducks the night prior. They lost 4-2. Late start, coming in back-to-back, playing Vegas. Sure, it's only a 40-minute flight, no big deal, but still, a little tired. But the Blackhawks had revenge on their mind. I mean, they got their butts kicked in front of their fans. They wanted a little payback. And I'm thinking this could be a trap game. Vegas is playing good. They're coming off a high-emotional win against the Capitals. They've got a dumpster fire of a Chicago Blackhawks team coming into the Fortress. Should we play Subban? No, Fleury played again. And the game started out quickly with Riley Smith finally burying one and getting a goal. And I was super excited for Smith to finally put one in. And then finally, Mr. Derek Englund, first goal of the year. Shoots it from the blue line, pow, right past Corey Crawford, Vegas Golden Knights. First period comes to an end. We're up 2-0. Now, second period, Taves gets a goal, and then Dylan Strome gets a goal. Now, Dylan Strome is, you know how I say Brock Besser is kind of the kryptonite for Vancouver? Well, Dylan Strome's another one because he used to score goals against us when he played for the Coyotes, and he's gotten a goal both times against us against the Blackhawks. So now all of a sudden it's 2-2 after 2. Now the Bug-Eye guy's getting a little worried. Now, if you're a fan of NHL referees, this is the point in the podcast where you need to turn it off because refs suck. And refs are really, really terrible at goaltender interference calls. I've been saying it all summer. I've been saying it all season. It's a huge problem that needs to be addressed. In fact, it was kind of karma because last night against the Blackhawks, we had 2 goaltender interference calls I'm about to talk about. But Wednesday night, I posted on Facebook a video from the Edmonton Oilers St. Louis game in which Tarasenko was clearly out of the crease. The defenseman smashed into Tarasenko, which in fact smashed into the goalie. They said it was goalie interference. They disallowed the goal, and they gave Tarasenko a 2-minute penalty for goalie interference when video evidence clearly showed the defender forcibly pushed Tarasenko into the crease, into his goalie, thus causing all the contact. Well, at 17:45 in the second period, it appeared that Oscar Lindbergh scored a goal until they challenged it, and they said that it did in fact cross the net, across the goal line before the net came off the mooring, so the horns went off, and then the rest said, but it wasn't a goal because of goalie interference. It took them way too long to come up with that decision, and there was absolutely zero consistency in that call. If the defender is pushed into the goalie, if the defending player pushes the offensive player into the defending goalie, that is not a penalty. You don't wave it off. It's not goalie interference. The rule book says it. Figure it out, refs. So at 17:45, they said it was no goal. The place went, refs, you suck. It was, okay, fine. We survived through the second period. We thought we took the lead. The refs screwed us. We're used to it. Vegas Golden Knights fans are used to it. We do not get the calls goalie interference. Look at the stats. We rarely get those calls going our way unless if it is blatantly obvious. And even when it's blatantly obvious, they sometimes still screw the Vegas Golden Knights. So the third period comes out, and the Bug-Eye guys thinking, okay, we got to play how we did in the first period. I think we came out tough in the first period. Second period, we thought we might have, roll over these guys and got caught off guard, and it's 2-2. We got to come out and finish. Well, right off the bat, the Blackhawks come out 7:14 into the third. Stupid turnover by Holden. I get it. It happens. Anisimov, one-on-one with Fleury, makes a nice, beautiful play. Scores the goal. Honestly, when you have a breakaway, you're supposed to score. Riley Smith and Belly both had opportunities on the breakaway in this game and did not put the puck past Crawford. Anisimov did. So now the Bug-Eye guy's going, are you shitting me? This is dumpster fire, the garbage Chicago Blackhawks coming into our house, into the fortress, and they're going to beat us? Well, Riley Smith made a phenomenal zone entry play and a beautiful pass over to Marchie, who buried it into the net. And Marchie hadn't scored in a couple games, so it was good to get Marchie back, his 11th of the year. Beautiful shot, beautiful pass. All right, we're tied up. It's 3-3. Now, that happened at 7:55 in the third. At 8:07 in the third, Alex Tuck scored. Now, this was another controversial call. Goaltender interference. The defenseman tripped Pacioretty, and he landed kind of on Crawford. Now, there's a defender on top of Patches. As soon as they showed the replay, I kind of looked at my buddy in 216 going, are they going to screw us again? And we were kind of like, But now this time, the NHL officials and those idiots in Toronto were like, oh, it's a clean goal. Not much different than the call in the first period. Both times the defender was forcing our Vegas Golden Knights player into Corey Crawford. But either way, I'll take it. We ended up getting it. Ended up being the game winner. They pulled their goalie. We couldn't get it out of the zone. We played good defense. Bottom line, Vegas Golden Knights did what they had to do to survive. They did what they had to do to get the 2 points. These are the kind of games like last year that we would always win. And for some reason, and I don't know if it's just Schmidt's return or just the chemistry or the guys, the camaraderie, they're playing really, really good hockey right now. They're playing very smart with the exception of a couple dumb penalties. They're playing physical. The fourth line is definitely rubbing off on the other lines. The physical play is good, and they've been scoring. That was the problem at the beginning of the season. They were getting their chances. They were getting their shots. They just weren't getting them in the net. All of a sudden now, everybody's starting to score goals again. We're moving up the standings. We're moving up the rankings in the league. The stupid pundits are starting to come back on the bandwagon and go, oh, Vegas starting to play good again. And I know a lot of them are saying it's all Fleury, Fleury, Fleury. And Fleury has been a huge part of the success of the Vegas Golden Knights. Don't get me wrong. Fleury has been outstanding. But it's not just Fleury. It's not just Nate Schmidt. It's the team in general. It's the ownership, the management, the coaching staff, the players. I mean, it goes up and down both ways. The commitment that they're putting into it, the practice they're putting in it. Perfect example. I'm not a huge fan of Oscar Lindberg, but Oscar Lindberg has been a healthy scratch. Now, Patches got sick a couple days ago, and so they played Oscar Lindberg. He's the only guy on the roster that's up with the main league that's a healthy scratch. It's Hunt, Merrill, and Lindberg. So they throw Lindberg in there, and he gets 2 assists, and he plays really, really good because he's been putting in all that effort in practice. And when his name's called, he's there and he gives 110%. Lindbergh played really, really good. And honestly, I think that's just the makeup of this team. The players try hard for each other. They're out there for each other. They give 110% for each other. That is very important. That is very special and very powerful. And that is why that has translated to moving up the standings, being more competitive, winning games. It's all linked, folks. Now, at one point in the game, I leaned over to my buddy and Bug-Eye wife, and I said, hey, that kind of looks like the 2013 NHL Stanley Cup champions. Like, what? I go, well, look, you got Taves, Kane, Saad, Keith, and Seabrook was on there and came out and switched. But you would have had 5 of the guys that won the Cup in 13 that are still on the team, that are now substantially older. Now, Canes and Taves are still playing good, but Keith and Seabrook have definitely slowed down a lot. They make a lot of money. For the productivity that you get from them is it's not that good, folks. On a side note, though, for the Vegas Golden Knights, Wild Bill William Karlsson during the Blackhawks game got his 100th point as a Vegas Golden Knight. He's the first ever. It was 150th NHL point, but his 100th point for the Vegas Golden Knights because he had an assist on the Riley Smith goal. Congratulations, Wild Bill. A post-game interview from Jonathan Marchessault said, we definitely have some mojo, I think. We're just working hard. That's the strength of our team. And when we do that, we're successful. Pretty cut and dry to me. I mean, it's pretty much what I just explained. They've got the mojo. They're playing good. They're getting along. They're having fun. And when you're having fun playing a game, it's very important. When you're playing the game because you're getting paid to and you're required to play and that's the only reason you're playing, you got a problem. It's time to move on. So, folks, that's it. We had the Edmonton game, which was a close loss, but we played tough. Washington, game of the year, awesome, lived up to all the hype. And then we had the Blackhawks come to town, and we beat them 4-3. We got the 2 points. We kind of dozed off a little bit, but we came through when we needed to, and we got the W, which is good. So what do we got on the schedule? Well, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, we got the Los Angeles Kings playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, and we got a 6 o'clock game at the Fortress against the Dallas Stars. I'm hoping Subban plays tomorrow against the Kings, and we get Fleury at home at the Fortress, but it could be flipped either way. Or the coaching staff might roll the dice and play Fleury both games. I doubt it, but it could happen. Now, being a former Los Angeles Kings fan, I have been looking forward to this game. I couldn't believe when the initial schedule came out, after the Golden Knights sweeping the Kings in the first round of the playoffs last year, that we weren't going to face them until December 8th. That blew my mind. And especially the fact that they're kind of the dumpster of the Western Conference right now, that blew my mind also. But either way, finally tomorrow, the Vegas Golden Knights get to take on the Los Angeles Kings at the Staples Center. Should be fun, should be entertaining, and I believe we play them 2 or 3 more times in the month of December. So we're going to get to see a lot of the Kings over the next month, and that's a good thing for us, I think. I think it'll be fun, entertaining. You guys remember that Carrier-Doughty debacle? Yeah, well, now, Doughty, you better be careful, because you got the best fourth line in the league coming in, and Ryan Reaves don't take no crap. Will Carrier don't take no crap. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Kings game. I'm looking forward to that. And then again, Dallas, I mentioned it earlier. You know, they're 8-0-1 against the Pacific. That's going to be a tough game. Dallas is a good team. They're a physical team. They've got a lot of skill. They got decent goaltending. That's going to be a tough one. But I'm looking forward to it for sure, especially since I'll be at the Fortress. It'll be the third game this week. Luckily, from Thursday till Sunday, I got a couple days for my voice to get back to full strength so that I can start yelling again at the Fortress. And the Fortress has been awesome. Folks, if you have not been able to attend a game live, I'm sorry. It's not my fault as a season ticket holder you can't go, but if for whatever reason you get the opportunity, if you get a chance to go, please go. I know you can hear us fans on TV, but it's a cool atmosphere. It's a nice arena. It's a very open and modern arena, as opposed to Arizona's, which is very closed and janky and boxy. T-Mobile's very open. They've got smoking areas for all you smokers out there. There's plenty of room. Has been a little cold in Vegas the last couple days, I'm not going to lie. But the arena's not too cold and not too warm. The beer prices went up $16, and someone was telling me the other day a double shot of, I don't know, I don't drink alcohol, but it was up to like $20. They said it went up like $2. So that is one thing that we're going to continue to deal with, is the fact that the alcohol prices kind of suck. But guess what, dude? You're in Las Vegas. I get it. Hell, they charge to park now in Las Vegas, so it is what it is. If you get an opportunity, come. I sit in section 217, which is the coolest section. Oh, real quick. So whenever the Vegas Golden Knights get the first goal, one lucky section wins a prize. It's usually some bullshit drink at some sponsored bar that probably 80% of the people don't ever turn in. But the fact that you win is cool. The Bug-Eye Guy has been to a lot of games last year and almost every single game this year. Section 217 never, ever, ever wins. Now, my buddy John that sits right in front of me in row E, me and him are always like, come on, 217. And then we're like, bullshit, shit. Well, those guys always win. We never win. Here's the deal. Last night, against the Blackhawks, section 218, right next door, right to my right, frickin' won. And you're thinking, so what, Bug-Eye Guy 218 wins. At least it's up by you. Yeah, I know. Here's the problem. John's ex-wife was sitting in front of me. John's a Blackhawks fan, was a Blackhawks fan, Golden Knights fan. So he got tickets to the game. Where do you guys think John was sitting? Yep, that bastard was in section 218. And he won, and he's jumping up and down, and he's looking at me, and he's cheering, and I'm like, you are freaking dead to me, John. For one, John is the reason I had the issue with Ed, because John is Ed's friend. And a quick Ed update, for you guys don't know, Ed's a douchebag that sits in row E. As of December 6th, yesterday, the Blackhawks game, Ed has not gone to one Vegas Golden Knights game. He has sold every single ticket. I hope he gets his season tickets revoked. And I hope he eventually shows up to at least one game so me and him can finally have our run-in, finally have our little discussion. But at this point, I'm not surprised that he hasn't showed up. He really didn't give a shit about hockey. And honestly, he got mad at me because I was cheering Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So, Ed, you're a douchebag, and I look forward to seeing you in Section 217, but I know you're a little bitch and you probably won't show up. And, John, as far as you sitting in a traitor section to the east in Section 218, and then you frickin' win, if you're not at the game on Sunday against Dallas and 217 doesn't win, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm telling you right now. John, you won. Congratulations. But it's total bullshit. Folks, I know this podcast is going on. I just got a couple more topics I want to cover real quickly. And the first one is Flash Sheets. Flash Sheets still sucks. It's still a janky website. And honestly, a lot of fans don't know how to use it. I don't like the fact that when I sell tickets on there, I have to go onto the website to request my money, and then it takes like 2 weeks to get. I think that's ridiculous. And honestly, it's 2018. It's almost 2019. Every professional sports team out there, for the most part, uses frickin' StubHub. Everybody knows if you want to get tickets to a professional sporting event, you go to StubHub. The fact that you're a little butthurt at StubHub is screwing over the Vegas Golden Knights fans. We're not getting the ability to get our tickets out there for games we can't go to. It sucks. Flash Sheets sucks. The way you search for tickets sucks. StubHub, you'd be able to select the section and everything. Flash Sheets is janky and sucks. But I'm going to abide by the rules. I'm going to continue to list what little tickets I do actually get rid of on Flash Sheets because I'm required to. I'm just letting you guys know, if you have to use Flash Sheets and you think it sucks, the Bug-Eye Guy concurs. Flash Sheets is garbage. Whatever. Another topic. Oh, this was a good story. You guys familiar with the Hershey Bears? I know it's the Capitals minor league team, but Hershey Bears set a world record on Sunday of last week. An insane 34,798 stuffed animals were thrown onto the ice. Now, they do it every year. It's the annual teddy bear toss. And tens of thousands of stuffed animals are going to go to over 30 local charities near Hershey, which is awesome. That's good for the kids. And honestly, it's good for their fans. But you should see the video. Go on Twitter. Go on Facebook, Instagram. It's all over the place. YouTube. They are just launching these teddy bears. It seems like forever. And it's just starting to pile up on the rink. It took them so long to get the shovels out there and collect all these teddy bears. It was incredible. Vegas needs to do that with the flamingos. Can you imagine 34,000 flamingos thrown on the ice? I don't know. I thought it was cool. All right, one last topic before I get into my rant for the week. The Bug-Eye Guy's been doing these podcasts. Now, this is the 21st episode, so I've been doing it pretty much since the summertime. I enjoy it. Every podcast seems to be a little bit better, I think. The audio quality is a little bit better. The editing's a little bit better. I have more of a game plan. In fact, I actually do a summary of what I'm going to talk about, and I print out all my notes, so I have everything here in front of me. I'm able to read it. I enjoy it. I was having issues with SoundCloud. SoundCloud was my host, my provider. They were the ones that I would upload my podcast to, and then the RSS feed from SoundCloud would get sent out to places like iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play, whichever one you're using to listen to this now. But I was having issues, so I did a little bit of research, and I ended up switching my podcast hosting service from SoundCloud over to Podbean. Now, Podbean has an app that you can download, and you can listen to all kinds of different podcasts, including the VGK Bug-Eye Guy. Another tool that Podbean provided the Bug-Eye Guy was a website. So they give you a website where it has pretty much your podcast on there. But I was able to take my old website, and if you guys ever went to my old website, I tried hard, but I'm not a web builder, so it was kind of janky. But I was just trying to do the right thing. So I bought a domain, I built a website, it kind of sucked. Podbean comes along, and Podbean says, we're going to give you a website, and you can actually link your domain to it. So that's what I've done. So if you go to www.vgkbugeyeguy.com, it's going to take you to my website. It's actually a Podbean website design. It's got my latest 5 episodes that you can click on, and it'll immediately start playing the podcast. And then off to the right on the desktop version, or down at the bottom, I put some links to my favorite social media fan groups. I put some links to my social media to reach out to the Bug-Eye Guy. I got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those are on there. And then I also did a couple websites that the Bug-Eye Guy uses particularly for research before I do the podcast. Simple sites like NHL.com, VegasGoldenKnights.com, TSN.ca, CapFriendly.com, which is a very important one that I go to. So if you guys have time and you're interested, head on over to www.vgkbugeyeguy.com. Check out the new website. Let me know what you think. You can leave comments on the website, or you can go to any of my social media links and reach out to me. So that's it. All the URLs have been redirected. I've gone on and coordinated with Apple Podcasts and with Google Play, so they're all linking now to the new URL. So for most of you guys, you're not even going to notice a difference. Well, unless if you listen to the VGK Bug-Eye Guy on something like TuneIn or Spotify. or Podbean, because by me switching over, I now have my podcast available on Spotify, TuneIn, and Podbean, along with Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. So the Bug-Eye Guy made the change. It's actually a little bit cheaper for me, which is kind of cool. It gave me the website, and it gave me the ability to reach out to a couple more podcast platforms. So that's what I did. If you guys are interested in starting a podcast, go to podbean.com. Just take a look. The prices are not terribly expensive for what you get from them, that's for sure. And honestly, a podcast you could do with an iPhone. You want to do a better one, you do it with an iPhone and a external microphone. Or you can be like me, and I have a laptop, and I've got a professional mixer and a professional microphone sitting in front of me on my desk, and wasn't a lot of money because I bought it secondhand, and it works great. I mean, I use a program called Audacity. It's a free program that records audio. You can edit the audio, and then it converts it to an MP3 player, and you can upload it to all the social media and all the podcast sites. It's not that expensive. I enjoy the podcast because, yes, it's a lot of work in prep and publishing, but the videos, I like doing videos too, but the videos are a lot of work, and I don't know. I'm too busy with life. I got teenage daughters. I got a wife. I got a full-time job. I got a side job. I'm busy with life, and I go to a bunch of nights games, or I have to watch games, so I have to really plan my hours of the day around. And if you're listening to this podcast right now on Podcast Friday, I apologize that I'm uploading it in the afternoon, but that's just how it's going to be. If the Vegas Golden Knights play a game on Thursdays, a Thursday night game, I am not going to do a podcast Thursday night or Friday morning. It's not going to happen. I'm going to go to the game. I'm not going to record a podcast before a game. Why would you want to listen to this podcast right now and I don't talk about the game that happened last night? You're not going to hear about last night's game until next Friday. Well, that's stupid. That's why I don't do it. That's why I don't have a hard deadline on when I do these podcasts, because I need to do my research. I need to record the actual podcast, and I need to have the most recent information to record the podcast. So that's that. So check out Podbean if you have time. If not, it's cool. Don't care. All right, folks, this just about wraps up episode 21 of the VGK Bug-Eye Guy Podcast. But, of course, we have to end with Comment of the Week and the Rant. So the Comment of the Week this week, it's short. It comes from Twitter from a guy named Steve. I'm not going to put his tag out there, but he's posting, this is about the Tom Wilson hit. He says, "It's a shame that at NHL players need to become quasi-vigilantes because at NHL player safety doesn't adequately police dangerous play. But man, is it satisfying to see Tom Wilson get lit up like that. Hashtag all caps, hashtag Vegas Golden Knights." Now, that's cool. That says it there. I get it. People want to be, player safety should do something, but you can't cry wolf when you're the guy. You're the one. Tom Wilson's the guy. He is public enemy number one for 29 other NHL teams and public enemy number one for the NHL Department of Player Safety. He met with them in the summertime to try and see what he could do to not be on their shit list. And then he got suspended for doing dumb shit shortly after he met with them. So he ain't going to learn his lesson. He's a repeat offender. Repeat offenders are repeat offenders. This guy, good tweet, good comment, makes sense. One other one, this guy says, "Way to go, Ryan Reaves. Reaves to the rescue." Yeah, I get it. So that's the comment of the week, and now it's time for the rant. So, like I do every week, I struggle sometimes to come up with a good topic for the rant. I'll scour through social media, I'll watch, regular TV, sometimes a topic comes up or something in my personal life comes up that forces the rant topic to come in. Well, this week was from Ryan Reaves, because it's Revo week, Lion in the Jungle, Ryan Reaves is awesome. Revo tweeted the other day, at Revo75, "Just watched a story about people wanting this age-old cartoon banned because Rudolph was bullied. This world is going to shit. Don't at me." And he posted a picture of old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, this is America being America, politically correct, being soft. It's no different than a couple years ago when they were freaking out that the General Lee from the old Dukes of Hazzard show had a Confederate flag on the top. Where were you in 1970 and 1980 when that was there? No big deal. But now all of a sudden in 2000 and I guess that was 16, it's a big deal. We're not going to show the old episodes. Why? You weren't freaking out about Daisy Dukes wearing them Hoochie Mama shorts, were you? But, no, it's politically correct. Okay, I understand politically correct, but you also can't change history. I mean, look at the Germans. Their history was not so good. They've moved forward, but they don't ever forget. They just strive to be better people to not do that again. Dude, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a Christmas classic. So I did a little research and found a couple articles out there about some of this stuff and came across this one and thought I'd share it with you folks. So apparently everyone's getting too sensitive because of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So what about Christmas classics like I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus? Isn't Mommy married? Why would she be kissing another dude? Or Holly Jolly Christmas. Kiss her once for me. That's unwanted advances, right? What about White Christmas? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Ain't that a little racist? How come there's not a brown Christmas or a black Christmas? Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Peeping Tom? Stalker? We're good with that. The most wonderful time of the year. Now, the Bug-Eye Guy is more of a Scrooge fan. I love the Grinch. I'm not a big holidays guy in general, and it's because I'm kind of a loner. I'd rather kind of just be alone with my family, but bunch of people around buying a bunch of shit that they don't really want just because you're supposed to, because that's how society is. It's kind of lame, but the most wonderful time of the year. Everyone telling you, be good of cheer. What if you're depressed? What if you're sad? Maybe it's not the most wonderful time of the year. Obviously, Rudolph is bullying. Here's one. Santa Baby. You guys know that song? Santa Baby. Yeah, Gold Digger and Blackmail. Come on, really? Oh, here's a good one. Frosty the Snowman. Everybody loves Frosty, right? I mean, of course, a couple years ago, that Frozen Disney movie came out, and then it was Olaf who was the popular snowman. But before Olaf, it was frickin' Frosty. And Frosty melted in the frickin' sun, and it was messed up. And it was sad, because I love Frosty. But how come it's Frosty the Snowman? How come it's not Frosty the Snow Woman? Sexist? I don't know. Could be. Do you hear what I hear? Blatant disregard for the hearing impaired. What about the deaf people out there? They don't hear it. You picking on them because they can't hear it? I don't know. Jingle Bell Rock? Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet? Like, move your ass, horse, hurry up. I mean, animal abuse? I don't know. Should we ban that now, too? I'll be home for Christmas? Not if you're homeless. I mean, that's a little rude, right? I mean, what if people don't have a home? You say you'll be home for Christmas, but maybe they don't get to go home for Christmas. The bottom line is, all these songs have been around for generations. A lot of the old videos, the movies, the classics, been around for years. Old TV shows, been around for years. Just because the new era thinks that this stuff is politically incorrect or it might offend somebody, the Bug-Eye Guy does not give a flying fuck. I don't care. You're soft. Man up. Woman up. Figure it out. These are holiday songs. These have been around. Every person knows these songs. If you think they're insensitive or they promote softcore porn or unwanted advances or they're racist, you can believe whatever you want. You're entitled to your opinion, but just remember, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. This here, Revo, talking about it, Reeves right, but Reeves is right on a lot of things. I mean, this is common sense. This is people freaking out and making a big deal about stuff that really shouldn't matter. What are the holidays really about? The holidays are about spending time with family and friends, and that's it. And the kids, of course, the kids, especially Christmas. Christmas is all about the kids. All right, folks, that about wraps up the rant. It wasn't too long, but honestly, this is a topic that, I mean, it's this time of year. You're going to hear it. You're going to go to every store, and there's Christmas shit everywhere, and people are so soft, man. I know you guys aren't soft because you guys are hockey players, and you saw someone like Brady McNabb get a shaft from a stick whacked right across his face. He's bleeding, he's down, he's in pain, he goes off the ice, gets stitched up real quick, comes right back in and finishes the game. He was on the ice to close out the game. That's tough. That's physically tough. That's mentally tough. That's what hockey players are. And hockey players would see this and go, especially to some of them, like, are you kidding me? I can't say Frosty the Snowman because it's sexist and not Frosty the Snow Woman? Yeah, dude, I get it. I'm in the same boat. This is ridiculous. There's so much important shit going on in this world, in this country specifically, that needs to be addressed. But we're worried about, I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus, suggesting to minors that mommy's cheating on daddy. Really? That's where we're going with this world? I don't know. All right, folks, I've taken up way too much of your time, like I do on every episode. And remember, if you're a fan of the VGKbugeyeGuy Podcast, please let one friend know. I'm only asking you to promote the podcast to one person. Go to one person, say, look, I listen to this guy, Nick, the Bug-Eyed Guy. He's kind of funny, does this podcast, talks Vegas Golden Knights. And then they can tell one person. And by the time it snowballs, get it? Snowballs, Frosty, haha. Again, if you like the podcast, just let a friend know so that I can spread the word and get this podcast out to more and more people. That's all I'm asking for, folks. All right, folks, before I end the podcast, I just want to do a nice little announcement to all NHL players and fans out there. It is not okay for a opposing team player to pick up, fondle, grip, swipe another player's shaft of a stick. Nick Holden got his stick stuck in the glass against the Capitals. A couple seconds later, Kuznetsov comes across, takes his stick, yanks it violently out of the glass, and then starts playing with it. Dude, it's not cool to play with another dude's shaft, unless if they let you play with their shaft. Okay? All right, folks, that wraps up episode 21 of the VGK Bug-Eyed Guy Podcast. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys next Friday. I love you. And as always, duh, Bug-Eyed Guy, go Knights, go.